And we're back again with another lightsaber review. Hey y'all, we're back again with another lightsaber review, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Artsabers Neopixel Darth Vader. Now, I call it a Neopixel. I think technically it's Xenopixel because there is a bit of a difference between Xenopixel and Neopixel. The only problem is that I don't really know the difference other than just the type of controls and soundboard, I guess. I'll find that out. But anyways, in this video, we're going to be ranking several different elements of the lightsaber, from things like brightness to weight to hilt design to features. All of those things are going to be discussed. So I've had this lightsaber for quite a while now, several years at this point, and it is from Artsabers. Now I will say that this is my second Neopixel lightsaber that I've ever owned, and it is the nicest one that I have owned as well. And it does inspire me to check out more of Artsabers offerings. Now the only challenge when it comes to Artsabers is the main challenge when it comes to most Neopixel lightsabers. There's a really high barrier cost of entry. Basically, all of their lightsabers that are going to be the movie accurate ones, well, they are going to be very, very expensive. This one, I believe we got it for about $480, and it is a really nice Neopixel lightsaber, but there are certain elements that might sway you in one direction or the other on whether or not you believe it is worth it for that price. So it does come with this nice carrying case, which is really nice and solid. And on the other side, it says, "May the Force be with you." So that's really cool. And it is lockable. I have forgotten and or lost the instructions on how to actually set that code. I know that I probably could actually find that information if I wanted to. I just have never felt the need to lock my lightsaber case. So that is a really nice element that it comes with. It also comes with a Allen key that is used for, of course, loosening the set screws in order to take the blade in or out of the lightsaber. It also comes with a blade plug that does have connector points. So it has LEDs on the inside of the blade plug, and it looks really cool with it installed. I'll put some B-roll there. So let me give a bit of the backstory on why I actually have two of these lightsaber hilts and only one blade. So when I first got this lightsaber, I noticed it had a bit of a rattle to it. And I could not figure out for the life of me what that was. So I ended up taking apart the lightsaber, and it actually unscrews here, and then it has this other sleeve that unscrews, and that's where you can get to the chassis and you can charge the lightsaber this way. There's a plug right there, a USB-C to plug in to charge the lightsaber. You can actually see the soundboard and the battery tray and all of that stuff. I don't have a battery in this one right now, but I took apart the entire lightsaber as much as I could, and you can actually take off all of this stuff. If you undo this tension screw here, you can take off the shroud. I could not figure out for the life of me what it was that it was rattling, and it drove me crazy. And I thought, well, you know what? The inside of this metal cylinder is actually hollow, and it's like it's a sealed hollow compartment, just the inside wall and the outside wall about that thick, and it's just this piece here. There's no way to get inside it, and I thought that there might be some sort of loose piece of metal or something on the inside. So I reached out to the Artsabers customer service, and I explained the situation, sent a few pictures and video. I also noted that the button to activate the lightsaber was not quite lined up in the way it should be, and it also was a little bit off-centered from the button on the chassis. The way it works is underneath this activation matrix, which is where you press the button, it has a little extender pogo kind of thing that goes down to the inside, and that is what actually interacts with the internal chassis of the lightsaber, where all of the electronics are housed. It's really something that you could plug and play into any other lightsaber hilt that is built for that type of chassis. So it's a plastic interior chassis that holds all the electronics and the connection points, and then all of this is cosmetic, and it just has this little pogo stick thing that extends down underneath the activation matrix in order to interact with the button that is on the chassis. And so that thing wasn't quite long enough to actually interact with the chassis either. They gave me a few instructions on things to try, one of which is that you can actually take that little extension piece out. You slide off the little bubble strip here, and you can actually extend a little set screw that is in the bottom of it to make it where it's a little bit longer. And that did fix the problem of it interacting correctly with the chassis button. And so that fixed that one problem, but there was still the rattle issue. And so we eventually got around to the point that they just said, hey, we'll send you a new chassis. And I was like, okay, I don't know how that's gonna fix the rattle issue, but I guess we can try that. They didn't just send a new chassis. They sent an entirely new hilt. So that's why I have two of these. And they didn't ask for the old one back. And I wasn't going to tell them. That would just be stupid. That would be like the kid that, at the end of class is like, oh, teacher, you forgot to give us homework. No thanks. So anyways, they sent an entirely new hilt, which was great, and it has been kind of my display hilt. And I've had that one, I've actually brought that one to Galaxy's Edge a couple of times at this point. So anyways, after this one arrived, I was looking at them both, and I was like, there is still a rattle issue. I finally figured out what it was. So there's this little window, and inside of this window is a little piece of glass. And it's just mounted underneath this nice little aluminum bezel thing. This little piece of glass is not thick enough to fill up that space where this is mounted. And so you know what is rattling? That little tiny piece of glass. This window is into the mounting shaft where you put the blade. So whenever the blade lights up, you actually have this little window to see the blade in there. And it's sort of cool. It's not screen accurate, but it's still pretty cool, and it's their own little take on it. And that is where the rattle came from. So once I figured that out, I just took these screws loose, took off the little aluminum bezel piece, removed that tiny piece of glass, put it back, and the rattle issue was fixed. So at that point, this hilt was now completely fine. And so this one is still the one that I will use to this day. And there's a few little modifications that I made. So I like Vader's hilt design from episode 5. 4 is okay, 6 is okay, but episode 5 is my favorite. And episode 5 has the activation matrix in perfect alignment with the rotation of all the pieces on the hilt. It also does not have this little side lever thing. This is an old Master Replicas episode 4 version of Vader's Saber. And gosh, it's seen better days. It's a little sticky from the old rubber deteriorating and stuff like that. But you can see that if I turn them straight on, the activation matrix is off at an angle. There you go. You can see it over here. And that's weird to me. Also, the episode 4 version is what has the little clamp thingy, the little pressure clamp thing on the side. These lightsaber hilts were made from Graflex flash tubes and other flash tubes for cameras of the time period. And so that would actually be, you'd undo the little pressure clamp thing, you would slide this on to your camera. And so that's actually where that mechanical connection and electronic connection was with the camera itself. You'd slide it on and clamp it down. Well, in the episode 5 version, which is what this is, with the design and then with the activation matrix straight on like this, it doesn't have that. Now I figured out that this is just cosmetic. You can just unscrew that, you can remove it. They also have this little plate that just says Darth Vader, which is hilarious. That why would we put name tags on our lightsabers? I figure that anybody that sees this is gonna know it's Darth Vader's lightsaber without that little name plate. So on the one that I carry around, I removed that little screw-in clamp thing, and I took the screws out and removed this little aluminum name plate thing. And now it looks much, much better. So as you can see here, it looks a lot better now without that stuff. There we go, getting the camera to focus. It now looks a lot better than the original setup on it. It's more accurate to the episode 5 setup, and that is what I like about it. Okay, so let's talk a few comparison points to other lightsabers. I will say firstly, the price on this is massive. $480 for a Neopixel lightsaber. Most of that price point is actually just coming from the hilt itself looking like Darth Vader. And I don't know if they have any licensing fees or something like that to deal with, but $480, it does not cost that to create this. Now, there are a few custom parts here, but there's a lot of ways that you could go about creating these types of custom parts that don't cost that much. So I will say the price is pretty up there. It is pretty up there, especially considering that this Neopixel from Imperial Workshop uses probably the same type of chassis and setup. It actually is a Xenopixel just like this one, and it has the exposed crystal chamber and everything. It is only, I think, $240 for this one, and they have even cheaper ones on there that are still Neopixel or Xenopixel. I'm gonna use them interchangeably, sorry. Now this Imperial Workshop saber is also all aluminum. It's very, very, very light. Neopixel blades are really heavy, and that is something that is mitigated by the hilt being heavier. And so this thing being heavier because it has some steel in it, it actually makes it feel better in the hand, makes it feel more realistic, and a little more balanced when you're actually, swinging it around. Now let's talk about the soundboard. Now this being a Xenopixel soundboard, single button operation with some gesture controls as well. So it takes a little bit of getting used to with the single button operation, and you have to actually count pretty closely to get it to change things, such as changing between sound fonts. You just hold down the button until it goes to the next one.
The learner.
There we go. Okay, there's blue. If I wanted to change the ignition on this particular sound font, I would have to hold down the button for 4 seconds, very specifically 4 seconds, and then it would change. So you hold it down and let go. Hold it down, let go to scroll through those things. If you want to change the blade type to maybe a flame blade or something like that, you have to hold it down for 3 seconds. If you want to change the volume, you hold it down for 2 seconds and let go. So there's a lot of learning curve involved with this type of soundboard. So that's the reason that I, by and large, do not ever change those specific things. I just figure it out for whatever sound font I want, and I know which sound font it is that has the things on it that I might want for any given time, such as Blaster Blade or the Scavenger Ignition or whatever. I just go to that sound font instead of changing the one that I'm on because it's just such a pain. Now that is not on Artsabers. That's just the nature of this type of lightsaber control soundboard. Now I will say that this saber is pretty loud considering, and of course it has smooth swing. Woo! Don't hit all my lights here and stuff. And it has the gesture controls as mentioned, so you can twist it to turn it on and off. You can press the button to turn it on and off. You can hold down the button to turn it off as well. And again, you got to be careful. If you hold down the button and let go just too soon, you'll go into color change mode. So again, learning curve. There's also one more way to turn it on that is the favorite of my wife. That is stabbing. It's about acceleration. It's not the speed. It's the okay. What the? Aha, there we go. It's a little easier doing it down. Now let's talk about the blade. Now Neopixel blades, like I mentioned, are very heavy, but not all Neopixel blades are created equal. The one that came with this Artsabers saber is way brighter and much better quality than the one that came with the Imperial Workshop Neopixel lightsaber. So I will say that that is another area where this lightsaber, it shines above the rest, pun intended, in its blade quality. So it's very, very bright in comparison to the Imperial Workshop. And I actually do a comparison test between the blades in my lightsaber review video of the Imperial Workshop lightsaber. That is the Arc 2.0, if I remember correctly. And so if you want to see that comparison of the brightness between the two, go check out that video on the channel. Now it does have all kinds of effects and different ignitions, so you can customize pretty much every single element of this lightsaber. So you can change what kind of ignition, like it just did the Hunter ignition, I think it's called. And right now it's on the unstable blade. So you can sort of see it better there. And so you can go through and you can change exactly what kind of ignition is on each sound font, and you can change what kind of blade. So you can mix and match and customize to your heart's content. And of course, it also comes with all the standard effects that you get on board most Neopixel lightsabers, such as the tip drag and the saber lockup and the force effects. Now I will say that all of the sound fonts and the ignition sounds and the sound effects that are on this board already preloaded are fantastic, but there is a micro SD card on board that you can remove, and if you know what you're doing, you can go and you can customize your sound fonts, your blade styles, all of that stuff. You can actually delve in and do a lot of customization. I have not done it as of yet because I don't know what I'm doing. Now, real quick, let's talk about the durability of the lightsaber. I'm gonna say that this lightsaber is the most durable that I have currently, and it is especially more durable than the Imperial Workshop lightsaber. Now, as mentioned, this is more of a steel hilt that has some aluminum pieces and such, but the Imperial Workshop lightsaber being completely aluminum, it not only, like I said earlier, makes it very much lighter, but it also makes it more prone to have some issues. Like the CoverTech wheel that's on it, I actually had to install a new one because this being aluminum, and it's pretty soft aluminum too, that screw that actually was holding the original one on there just stripped completely out and it disappeared. So I ended up having to put a bigger screw in there, put a new CoverTech wheel on it, and I glued it as well just to make sure that it's not going anywhere. Also, electronics durability. That Imperial Workshop saber, it has a faulty speaker in it right now. Now, it has not gone through a huge amount of dueling. This one has gone through probably more dueling than that one has, and that one's speaker is messing up. This one, however, is not. Now, that is something that I could probably take up with Imperial Workshop and get figured out, but just keep in mind that the more money you spend on it, I will say the quality is going to go up. Even if it's not a direct correlation to the price of the saber, as you spend more money on your lightsaber, it is still going to have higher quality electronics and of course the hilt as well. Another cool thing that this comes with is a replacement activation plate. It actually comes with one that you can swap out so that it actually looks like a circuit board, more akin to the Anakin Skywalker or Luke Skywalker style activation matrix plate. Now, I don't have any video or pictures of that because it's been a couple years since I got this, and I actually just don't know where that piece is right now. So overall, in conclusion, I'm going to say that this lightsaber is worth the investment. It has served me well for quite some time. It's been to Galaxy's Edge multiple times, and it's only got a few scuffs on it, which are my fault anyway, and it has not given me any issues whatsoever. Now, it is very expensive, as are a lot of other Neopixel lightsabers, so I guess that we can't really complain about the price of this one when looking at the typical fare and price on most other companies. But I will say that the customer service with Artsabers is great. I did not expect to get a completely new hilt. Also, the stuff that comes with the lightsaber in general is fantastic. That case is awesome. It has space for 3 hilts in there in addition to 2 blades. So you could fit all of your lightsaber hilts in there, just about. I don't know how many you have. I've got technically 3 Neopixel lightsaber hilts now. So I actually can fit all of my lightsaber hilts in there and the 2 blades that I have and carry all of them in that one case and have them protected. So with all the things in mind that it does come with, they do take pretty good care of you overall. So I would recommend Artsabers as a good company to check out for your first or next Neopixel purchase. You will not be disappointed in the saber itself. Like I said, I know it's expensive, but the quality is there, the customer service is there, and all the stuff that you get along with it, it helps to make it worth it. All right, that's gonna do it for today. So, here, kitty, 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 kitty.